Today on CTV News at 5, slowing down on a speed camera program. Why the region is pumping the brakes on expansion locally. Plus, fall harvest at Hurley's. From decor to pumpkin pie. What the country farm market has to offer this season. And the Toronto Blue Jays look to finish off the Yankees in Game 3 of the ALDS as fans ride the playoff high after 2 big wins. CTV News at 5 starts right now. Good afternoon, everyone. Waterloo Region is pumping the brakes on plans to expand its speed camera program. Council voting today to pause any plans to install new cameras or hire additional staff as they wait for direction from the province. Last month, Premier Doug Ford announced he would introduce legislation that would ban municipal speed cameras across the province. Ford's plans have been met with pushback, though, along with concerns about safety and costs to cancel the program. The region says it wants to get a better idea of what the province has in store before moving forward here.
At the end of the day, the Premier and this government should be concerned about public safety and ensuring that we're doing the best we can to ensure safety for residents.
At 6, CTV's Alexandra Hollick will have more on what the pause means for drivers. As the support staff strike at colleges across the province continues, hundreds of OPSU members and supporters marched in solidarity today at Conestoga College. In anticipation of the demonstration, the college closed its Dune campus, causing confusion for students who showed up to class. The strike now entering its 4th week as mediated talks broke down over the weekend. Students and staff were left with questions about why the move was made today.
I came here and now I got an email that it is cancelled. Still, I had to wait because I didn't get any confirmation yet from the professors. So I have to wait.
We are fighting for them and their future education and future children's education.
The Dune campus reopened at 4 o'clock this afternoon. At 6, Ashley Bacon will hear from more students, union members, and the CEO of the College Employer Council. And Alex joins me here in the studio for a check on the forecast. Alex, that sunshine streak had to come to an end at some point.
It's short-lived because, yeah, the wet weather, the cloud cover that we're seeing out there today, although, you know, the farmer fields need it, our gardens definitely need it, but another sunny stretch is right around the corner, which we'll get into just a little bit. But when we look at our satellite and radar map for us this hour, you can see that system making its way across Kitchener, Waterloo, much of southern and southwestern Ontario this hour, this afternoon, going towards the east. So by the evening hours, getting into the overnight, that's when conditions are expected to clear for us. But again, yeah, another sunny stretch is on the way, so we're going to break that down a little bit later. And taking a live look outside from our tower cam, it is looking foggy and rainy north of Waterloo this hour. That cloud cover still sticking with us as well. So many of us experiencing similar conditions like this today.
Yeah, the rain moving in. I think I heard it outside of our studios as well on our roof here. Okay, we'll take a quick break, tell you what you need to know. Grab your furry friends, head down to Gaukel Block in downtown Kitchener this weekend for Dogtoberfest. It's taking place Saturday and Sunday in partnership with dog-friendly KW. Stay with us.
We are back here at Royal City Nursery with Tanya Olsen. Always great to see you.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Beautiful, beautiful day. I know we're into fall. Some days it's been feeling a little bit more summer-like.
And that's okay. We'll take it.
We'll take it, of course, because, you know, things are going to look a little different once we introduce maybe some cooler weather.
Yep.
But things that we should be doing now in our garden, especially when it comes to hosta care. If we're looking to split it, now might be a good chance.
Yes, and that is one of the big questions we get throughout the season is, can we split our perennials perennials? When should we be doing that? So in short, yes, please go ahead. You can transplant and you can split most things. Now, when we're talking about most things, we're talking about perennials. So we're actually technically talking about things that are green and succulent all the way to the base. So for our hosta, the awesome part, when we take a look at this, before we split it, we're going to think of it like a potato, right? So you leave a potato on the counter in the cupboard and the eyes start to grow all wonky.
Which isn't always the best.
No, that's okay. That's all right. So when we think about how our hostas and our perennials grow, most of them have technically eyes or fans, depending on what the structure is. And on this hosta here, this is one that was in a pot and I pulled it out. You can see that there's 3 very separate plants or 3 separate eyes.
Right.
So when you take a look at your hosta in the ground, you're looking for that.
Okay.
Easy way to start. If you're transplanting, I like to remove all the leaves, and I am not very nice about it.
No, they're just gone.
That's it. Thank you very much. We are off.
That was one of my questions before we started. Like, do you really cut them all?
Really. The reason we do this is because we want the energy to go into root production, not leaf production. And then if we do it in the fall, the awesome part is I can totally see what I'm doing now.
Perfect.
Right? So it's so much easier. Now I split out a chunk a little earlier. So I've got one chunk, complete eyes.
Yep.
So this is going to get planted. And I'm going to get you to split this last one. With the magic of TV, we started.
This one, yeah.
Thumbs in the middle.
Thumbs in the middle.
And just pull, you got it. And you're going to start, bingo.
Like that, okay.
And then we're going to tease these little roots that are holding each other.
There we go.
We're going to tease them apart.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Okay, great.
But you'll notice we didn't bare root it. We're going to keep all the soil on it, which is perfect. And then this is going to go back into the ground. So you're going to dig a hole, no different than it's new. So soil depth is here, so we're not going to bury it any deeper.
Right.
And then 1.5 to twice the size. And always, a little bit of transplanter just to get it going.
Perfect.
Don't forget to water the little darling.
And we want to water them. Do not forget to water them. And I think we can water pretty much right through to November.
Bingo, until the ground's totally frozen. So when we're talking water, I'm actually, let's bump these little dudes out of the way. We're going to take a look at a cedar. And one of the other questions, we get this one in August and September all the time, is my cedar's turning brown. Do I need to be afraid?
Like right here, you can see that.
And we can see it, right in the middle. And the answer is no, that your cedar is not dying. This one, most cedars, most evergreens are not forever green, right? So they're still going to shed the needles. At some point, they don't have them always, but when they shed from the inside out.
Right.
So when we look at this, we can see it's from the inside, so I'm not worried.
Okay.
How do you want to control this? If it's well watered, good soaking of water up to, again, ground freezing, so early November, middle of November, then you get less shedding next year.
Okay. And in terms of any final tips that we should really be taking away with the weather that we've been seeing lately?
The last PSA we need is those little house plants.
Oh, yes.
So I've got a fern that's been sitting on my patio for most of the season.
Yep.
Please, if you haven't taken your tropicals inside, please take them inside this week.
You've mentioned it before, so this is another, reminder,
Yes.
friendly reminder.
And one of the things we have to remember is that with the weather like this, all the insects right now are going dormant. We want them to, right?
Yep.
We need those little pollinator dudes to come back, but we don't need those little friends coming inside with us.
No, I don't think we want any extra friends.
So before you take it inside, just spray it with a little bit of Endol. So totally organic.
Okay.
It's a beautiful insecticide that kills most soft-bodied creatures. You're going to spray it a total of 3 times. Once outside, and then inside, keep them in quarantine. Yeah, kind of like you've got a sick family member, so we're going to keep them in quarantine for a little bit. And then at that point, you're going to spray once a week for the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
3 times altogether.
Perfect. See, it doesn't sound so bad.
No, not so bad. But get them inside before the little darlings freeze.
Yeah, so we don't want anyone letting us know that they waited an extra week or so.
Nope, not at all. It's time to do it.
Always great insight and tips. Tanya, thank you so much for your time.
We'll see you soon.
Farmtoberfest is bringing the farms to city streets Friday from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. The free event happening at Gaukel and Charles Street in downtown Kitchener. Since fall officially began, it hasn't really been feeling like fall out there, but Today, a little bit of a different story.
Oh yeah, we're definitely noticing it, especially with the wet weather that we've been seeing from the overnight into the early morning hours, depending on where you are and when it could have hit you. I know it just passed over our station too not too long ago in terms of a little bit of active weather. But with that, of course, brings that cool down and getting to seasonal conditions now. One thing to note, the overnight lows, it's going to get chilly, which we'll get into.
Chilly.
Yeah, in just a moment. So no more days feeling like in the 30s.
Well, we'll cross our fingers. Maybe we'll get one last
Maybe we'll get
blast.
another one. We'll have to see. Taking a live look from our tower cam downtown Kitchener. You can see the clouds still in the sky. Overcast conditions. Again, depending on where you are, you may have noticed a light shower just passing through. For us, we were under that thunderstorm risk as well. In particular, the Niagara Peninsula region, seeing some heavy rain in that area in terms of also being under that bit of a thunderstorm risk there. So not getting it too bad here in Waterloo region and surrounding areas. But yeah, much of southern, southwestern Ontario seeing a little bit of rain, but definitely rain that we needed. I know we keep talking about it for our crops, for our farmers, our gardens, even our grass definitely need a little bit of rain. It's been a while since we've seen a system like this pass through, but short-lived because getting into the overnight hours, conditions expected to clear, and then that sun is expected to stick with us for several days. But again, this is when we're going to start to see a little bit more seasonal temperatures start to roll in. And in terms of the overnight lows, potentially getting a little bit cool, even below seasonal. So right now we are sitting at 14 in Kitchener at Waterloo, 15 if you're in Goderich, 14 also in London, 15 in Sarnia. So many of us in that mid to upper teen range. And again, a big difference compared to what we saw earlier in the week when it felt more like 30. So just to compare with that humidex, we are feeling a bit of humidity in the air with, of course, a bit of that wet weather. So feeling closer to 17, for example, here in Waterloo region this hour. Overnight 5 degrees is our expected overnight low, and 5 is seasonal. That's where we should be hitting in terms of overnight lows for this time of year. Clearing conditions like we noted before, and then getting into tomorrow, 15 degrees. That is our expected daytime high. And this is when we can start to see that sunny stretch stick with us. Winds coming from the north, more so in that late morning portion. And then that UV index considered to be moderate. So we're going to be sitting at about a 4. Earlier in the week, we were sitting at 6. 5, so we were in that upper range and we were really noticing it too with that sunshine. So we're pretty close to seasonal for this time of year. Record high 28.3 that was set back on this day in 1946. And again, like we said, 5 degrees, which is normal for this time of year. Overnight expected low. Still big difference, -4. That was our record low that we saw on this day in 1954. And tonight that sun setting at 6:53 p.m. So getting closer and closer to the 6:50 mark on the dot. So this is a look at your first at 5. That sunshine sticking with us right through, just even start the weekend as well. 15, 14. So again, feeling more seasonal in terms of daytime highs. But take a look at the overnight lows expected. So like 1, 3, right through to 7. It's going to be noticeably chillier in terms of overnight and early in the morning hours. Oh, you're back here at Hurley's Country Market, and we, of course, are talking all things fall harvest. James Hurley joining us once again. Great to see you.
Well, thanks. Nice to see you as well.
So, you know, when we think of fall harvest, the fall farm season, pumpkins, obviously, pretty popular. In terms of what we can look forward to, especially ahead of Thanksgiving, and we're talking about fall harvest season, what's been a priority for you guys?
Well, it's interesting. Pumpkins are obviously, that orange pumpkin is the iconic fall symbol, and it used to be that was the only part of it. But now it's interesting for the fall decorative push is lots of different colors of pumpkins, stackable pumpkins, different sizes, shapes, and pretty much every configuration of pumpkin you can imagine. So that's sort of what we have and try to focus on. And then once we get a little farther into the fall, then everyone just wants an orange pumpkin for carving and such as we get closer to the end of October.
Yeah, and I know, you know, there's your carving pumpkin, there's one for pumpkin pie, which of course we're going to talk about in just a little bit too. But in terms of behind the scenes, how many pumpkins do you have on site, and what's the work that goes in behind the scenes that people might not see?
Well, pumpkins, so this year's pumpkins were planted in June and they grow over the summer, and pumpkins really loved a summer like we had. Lots of heat, as long as we could keep enough water, and we did get fortunate to get some timely rains. They look spectacular this year, really because of all that heat. And then we harvest, we actually start to cut handles about now, just to try to keep that handle intact. I often tell some of the guys that help us pick, they say, okay, it's a $1 pumpkin and a $5 handle, so don't break the handles. So we're trying to preserve those handles because it just gives that pumpkin a nicer look.
What's it like for you to see members coming back every year and really kind of making it part of their fall family traditions?
It is a great traditional, probably other than maybe fall and Christmas, people have their traditions and love to come and get their photos in front of the pumpkins. In front of here, it's amazing, all the staging of the babies perched up against the pumpkins and such. So it's neat to see that over the years. Yeah.
And finally, in terms of what's been going on inside the market, so obviously pumpkin pie or tarts, those are pretty popular. In terms of baked goods or other items that people are able to purchase, what's been key for you here?
So as I say, we're really rolling into the fall menu in the bakery, and lots of pumpkin everything. Pumpkin muffins, pumpkin tarts. There's whoopie pies, which are like a muffin or a cookie type with some cream cheese icing sandwiched in between. It's spectacular. So those are some of the highlights of the bakery right now.
Okay, these are just a few of the pumpkins coming from 15 acres of your property that you have, and we've got quite a variety. When we think of pumpkins, orange obviously for jack-o'-lanterns, but we're seeing almost like a bit of a green, gray, white. What is the difference between these pumpkins? Like, how do we get, say, an orange one and a white one?
So the seed breeders have worked diligently at creating different types and colors, and they're really the geniuses behind it. This one, for example, this gray blue pumpkin is a blue doll, and it's super thick fleshed. It's almost completely solid, and it keeps and stores amazingly well. Like even into the winter, January, February, these would still be almost rock solid and make this beautiful, rich, nutrient-dense food. So that's these. They're also really designed to be stacking pumpkins with white, pink, and gray, and just stack for. It's a different style than just setting one pumpkin on your porch.
Okay, I wish you can smell what it's like here in the bakery here at Hurley's. We are talking with Joanne about how we get a pumpkin like this into pumpkin pie, tarts, pretty much anything we want. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
I was going to say, it smells incredible back here. And as we're getting into that Thanksgiving season, many people obviously really excited. So what do we do in terms of using a pumpkin like this? Can you talk a bit about why we use one like this, not maybe like a larger one that's used for a jack-o'-lantern, and then what we do?
Yeah. Well, first of all, this is a nice size to work with. But secondly, it's a little bit drier than typically the large pumpkins are, so it's a nice consistency for using for baking, and it's a nice intense flavor. So that's why you can use a big pumpkin. Any size of pumpkin can make a pumpkin pie just fine, but this is what we typically use here. So we start with the pumpkin here. We cut them in half. We use our oven and roast them. You can boil them or microwave them, anything to get the flesh nice and soft. Then we empty that out. Add a bit of water, puree it nice and smooth. You can see here we have some nice puree. And then we add all the ingredients that we need. So we use that for all of our pumpkin things here. We use it for our pumpkin pies and pumpkin tarts, our pumpkin muffins, pumpkin whoopie pies, and our pumpkin dinner rolls. So we use a lot of fresh pumpkin this time of year. And so it's a big process, but it's worth it, we think, rather than using the canned filling. So then we take that, add the ingredients, all those nice pumpkin spices, of course, and then we pour it into the pies. So we have some nice batter that's already made, and then we just pour that in. To the we usually bake our pie crusts a little bit so that they are fully baked when they're finished, and then we put that into the oven. And then they come out, and then they look like this. And here we have our pumpkin pies and pumpkin tarts and pumpkin muffins that are freshly baked. And then we package them up, and they're ready for our customers.
Generous filling too, I have to say.
Well, that's the way I like it.
A handful of puppies with parvovirus are fighting for their lives. The Guelph Humane Society took the puppies in critical condition late last week. 4 of them didn't survive. 7 others are being treated for the disease. A fundraiser has been set up to help them. You can find out more on how you can help on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. And here's the final 5 stories we're keeping an eye on today. A cash-strapped marine land says without emergency funding by today, dozens of beluga whales could be euthanized. It comes as the Niagara Falls Park struggles to care for 30 beluga whales. The federal government recently denied permits to export the whales to China. Marineland says without funding, euthanasia may be the only option. Fisheries Minister Joanne Thompson calls the request, quote, inappropriate, saying the park is responsible for the animals' care. Cineplex is heading to court to fight a record $38.9 million penalty for misleading its customers. The theater company was penalized by the Competition Tribunal last year after it ruled Cineplex misled theater goers by not immediately disclosing a $1.50 fee for booking tickets online. The company is appealing the ruling, saying customers are told about the fee right away and can avoid it by purchasing tickets at a theater. A Waterloo Region woman's AI chatbot used to help women battling breast cancer is the focus of a new national clinical research study. Ellen Winters co-created Ask Ellen after feelings of isolation following her own breast cancer diagnosis. Now a breast cancer survivor, Winters has helped people affected by the disease in more than 100 countries around the world. The Canadian Cancer Society is now putting forward $250,000 to analyze what's working with the tool and how to improve it.
It is that emotional journey that someone's on, and it's not just the patient. For every person that's going through this, there's probably 10 more friends, family members, husbands, wives, children. They're all on this bus that they didn't ask to get on either.
CTV's Spencer Turcotte speaks with others involved in the work, as well as someone who recently started using Ask Ellen tonight at 6.
What do you think? I hope we don't go to war.
Excuse me, stewardess, is there a movie on this flight?
A new book was released today chronicling the life of comedian John Candy. John Candy, A Life in Comedy, dives into his career and the private battles he faced away from the camera. The book by Toronto author Paul Myers features interviews with those who knew Candy, including Catherine O'Hara and Tom Hanks.
Optimistic but not cocky, so I think we can get this series, but it's one game at a time.
And it is a big night. The Toronto Blue Jays will try to sweep the New York Yankees tonight as the American League Division Series shifts to the Bronx for Game 3. The Jays lead the best-of-5 series after winning the first 2 games at home. Shane Bieber will get the start on the mound tonight. The first pitch just after 8 o'clock, 8:08 p.m. will be the first pitch, and I'm sure plenty of Jays fans will be tuning in to that one. All right, we'll leave it there. We're back at the top of the hour. Tony Grace has your next local news at 6. For now, have a good night.